Instead of printing a shirt for my own studio, I decided to make it using these lino blocks. Let's see how this will go. This is what we will need: shirt, fabric paint, lino block, carving tools, sponge. I have no idea how this is called, but it's basically a transfer paper that we will use to transfer design from paper to lino block. First thing that I need to do is to see how big I want my logo to be on the shirt. That way I can set those dimensions in Illustrator and then trace the logo from screen to paper. Let's go. Okay. I will use a simple piece of paper to set on a size. For example, this would be too big, so I was thinking to fold it and maybe something like this. I think something like this would be good. That would be almost 3 centimeters with 8. I think it will be more than 8, but it will be our starting point. So in Illustrator, we will set up dimensions that we just measured. For height, we will use 2.7 centimeters, and for width, we will use 8 centimeters. We'll make a board. Now I will transfer my logo here, size it. Okay. Yeah, something like this I think will be enough. Scale it a little bit. To make sure the size is realistic, in bottom left corner you need to set up the size to be 100. One thing that I forgot to say is make sure to rotate whatever logo or art you want to use for Lino. Transform, reflect. Okay. Because when you stick it, it will be like mirrored. Take a piece of paper, make sure this is 100%, track this on piece of paper. Instead of doing it this way, you can also make the whole process much more easier for yourself and print whatever artwork you want to use. Because I'm doing a smaller piece, holding paper with my hand is much easier, but if you're working on something bigger, then you can also use a duct tape and tape the corners of paper on the screen so it doesn't move around or slide. Now we'll take our lino block. On top of it we will place the transfer paper. Now make sure that smoother side is facing the lino block, because usually it have 2 different sides. And on top of it you will place paper with your design that you printed or traced. To transfer the design from paper to lino block, take a pencil and just go through the whole thing and retrace each line. Make sure to apply a bit more pressure than usual, and also repeat this maybe 1 time or 2 times just to make sure everything will transfer fully. Because I made a mistake and I only did it 1 time and the lines were barely visible on lino block, so I needed to retrace the whole thing 1 more time directly on the lino block so it can be much more visible and easier to work with. This is how the design looks on Lino after all the retracing, filling out the shapes, and you can see it's pretty visible, the lines are clear, so it will be much easier for us to carve it out. We will use this little tool for carving. It also comes with few different attachments. I think they're for different kind of cuts, deeper cuts, bigger cuts, and we can do small cuts like this. I'm not very experienced when it comes to carving out lino blocks, because this is my second time doing this. So I will probably struggle at some parts, but the final results will be very, very cool. I used to watch on TikTok people carving out like some big poster pieces or also like some prints for t-shirts, and it always looked very relaxing the way they did like the whole carving process, and they would have some like a nice music behind it. And I think that's what made me try out carving out lino block. And it also looked very easy, to be honest. Like when you see them, they make like such a huge curve from like one line of carving, and then here I am struggling to make like a little corner. This is where I used that bigger attachment, so I can clean out everything around the logo, and then we can just cut the whole thing up, and we will end up with like a block piece that looks like a stamp. You can also see here how thin my block is. Using a roller would be much easier for this part, but I do not have it, so I'll just use a simple sponge. Now when applying color to sponge, make sure to tap a few times on paper or canvas and then apply it to your lino block. Also make sure to do this a few more times so color can be properly applied on the block. If you have some shirt or something that you do not need, you can use it to test how the first stamp will look basically. Now we will place a piece of cardboard inside of the shirt. This will help us to better apply the stamp, and also it will prevent the color from leaking to other side. When you place it on your shirt, make sure to press hard, and also you need to apply a bit more pressure to it, just so that color can properly transfer from block to fabric. Here, because it was a small piece, I pressed it with my leg, but I think you can also use some heavy block or something. Oh ho! Looking good! Let's go! Oh, that's so nice. So cool. Wait. The camera looks a bit weird, but... Because I use a black shirt and I also freestyled with some tools, I think that's why the white color didn't fully transfer to the fabric. So I decided to take a small brush and then just paint over the whole thing again using the fabric colors that I also used for the lino block. If you are using like white shirt, it will be much more easier to apply any other color to white shirt than applying white to black. It will be much more visible and to look much more stronger. Also, if someone has some advice on how to better use lino blocks or how to carve it more easier or how to apply the color in a better way, please let me know down in the comments, because I want to learn more about this so I can make even more fun stuff. Also, I forgot to mention this, when you are working with this type of color, when you finish painting your shirt, before you wash it, make sure to leave it out to dry for like 1 or 2 days. So this is how the shirt looks after drying out and washing. Color stayed the same, nothing changed, everything is there. I think it looks pretty sick. I'm also planning to add this sketch on backside of the shirt. I think it will make it like much more interesting and it will be a very cool process to do. But for that I will make probably a reel that will be posted either, yeah, it will be posted like here and also on my Instagram, so make sure to drop a follow, subscribe, and stay tuned.